Welcome back. The Herd is coming up next right here on FS1. So let's head over check in with Colin this morning. Colin, welcome to the show.
Well, the most disrespected NBA player maybe ever, Steph Curry, owned All-Star Weekend. Couldn't be happier. That's coming up.
Let's say that again. All right, Colin, thanks. Well, Pacers big man Domantas Sabonis took home the All-Star Skills Challenge title ahead of the game last night. Sabonis edged out fellow big man Nikola Vucevic in the final round to be crowned the champ and the fourth big man to do so out of the past 6 seasons. So, Shannon, how surprised were you by this, really?
I'm not really surprised because the big men are more skilled now, Skip. Can you imagine in the 80s and 90s, Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, Akeem Olajuwon?
It'd be a joke.
It'd be a joke, exactly.
They wouldn't even think about it.
I can only think of maybe David Robinson, because David Robinson was smooth, could run, could handle the ball. His father, Arvydas Sabonis, but I don't know if he can get up and down the court like this kid. So, but I'm not surprised, Skip, because these big men are so skilled. 6'11" Sabonis, 7-foot Vucevic, but I'm not surprised at all.
Okay, but we saw 2 next evolutions. We saw distance shooting from Steph and Dame, and then we saw both Sabonis and Vucevic just take over a skills competition dominated by little people.
Yeah.
So we saw big men. Sabonis is 6 feet 11 inches tall. It's like if you stood next to him, you'd say he's a giant.
Yeah.
And he was moving like a little man, effortlessly, running.
Vucevic is 7 foot.
Shooting threes like effortlessly, right?
I just think the thing is, Skip, if Dirk Nowitzki had done this, we wouldn't be surprised.
No.
But Dirk played the 4. These guys are centers.
Yeah.
They're centers.
And Sabonis looks like he can run a little bit.
Yes.
Right?
But he's smooth like his dad. Skip, people don't realize how good his daddy was.
His daddy was
His daddy was on the Soviet team.
Yeah.
But he was like on his kind of last legs when he got to Portland. His knees had befallen him.
But then when this Sabonis got in the All-Star game, he played 18 minutes and scored 2 points with 1 rebound. I don't know.
He was just, but hey, Skip, he almost won last year's skill challenge. It took Jaylen Brown to hit that Hail Mary to beat him.
That is it for Undisputed. We're back same time tomorrow morning. Will we have Cowboys news tomorrow? We'll see. The Herd's on now.
Dak doesn't have the deal. That's the news.
Later. Well, Giannis lived up to being the All-Star Game's first pick for Team LeBron. The Greek Freak took home the MVP after going a perfect 16 of 16 from the floor and becoming the first player to have a perfect shooting night with at least 10 attempts in an All-Star game. Steph Curry and Damian Lillard each drained 8 three-pointers apiece as Team LeBron cruised to a 170-150 win. LeBron is now a perfect 4-0 since the team captain format started. Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard joins us now. Chris, what is your biggest takeaway from the game?
Well, there were a lot of takeaways, but I'm going to say on the evening, I was struck, and I don't want to beat a dead horse. I saw the segment before. It was like the Steph Curry love and respect tour. You know, and we've talked about it even on this show, how do players respect Steph and why they may not respect him as much as they should. But last night, I mean, from the get-go, you had Reggie Miller calling Steph the greatest shooter of all time during the three-point contest, which is huge coming from a guy that played against and with Larry Bird. And Reggie himself, you know, could try to lay claim to being the greatest shooter of all time. Then you had Kenny Smith saying he would want Steph to take the shot at the end of a game of all the players in the league, which I disagree with, but still, Kenny Smith was saying that. It's obvious on the court how much respect Damian Lillard has for Steph, especially, I think, since Steph put 62 on him. And Steph obviously goes ahead and wins the three-point shootout. And then after the game, which Steph played great, shot balls from, you know, all types of ranges, for LeBron to put up that tweet about hashtag change the game by himself alone, hashtag greatest shooter of all time, hashtag respect beyond words. I mean, that's major praise coming from a guy that you've kind of been a rival with and you know, played in the finals against so many times and beat LeBron so many times. So I thought it was great to see a lot of love and respect thrown Steph's way. And I tell you, from the distance that he and Damian Lillard were shooting, we talked about this earlier on First Things First, I think eventually, and I mean within the next few years maybe, they'll probably put some type of 4-point spots on the floor, like deep where they were shooting from. And, you know, I wonder if guys are going to keep expanding their range this way. I wouldn't doubt that way down the line, do you even see a 4-point shot in games? Which sounds ridiculous, but I'm talking about right at half court or something like that. Because Damian Lillard is shooting it like it's a jumper. And Steph, I mean, he always looks like he's heaving it, so he's shooting it like his normal shot. And I think guys are just going to keep expanding on that. So that's an interesting thing to watch for.
Yeah, for me, I took away, Chris, is that what we saw last night is the greatest distance shooting that we had seen in an All-Star game. The way Steph and Dame can shoot the three, and then James Harden and Bradley Beal was equally as competent at shooting the three last night. What we saw is that we saw 58 made threes on 133 attempts and 38 dunks. So we had more three-pointers made than dunks in an All-Star game. So that just shows you the evolution. Chris, I thought Dame should have been the MVP. Now, I know Giannis was perfect, 16 for 16. That's the most makes without a miss of someone that's taken at least 10 shots in an All-Star game. But Dame Lillard scored the final 11 points. He had a layup, and then he hit 3 threes. And the last 2 were not your little corner threes. They were long-range threes. And then he comes back and hit one step past half court and said, hey, you know what? I got a flight to catch. Even though he's flying private, he's like, I told my pilot I'd be back at this time, and I'm about to end this game. This thing is over. So what we saw last night, Steph and Dame put on a clinic shooting the ball from distance. Now, it's like when these guys shoot these little corner threes, I'm like, how you missed that? That's a free throw. Skip, the corner three is now a free throw.
It is.
You know what I mean? It's ridiculous, the ease at which they can shoot that. So now...
Well, Steph in practice made 105 in a row.
You like, right? How do you make 105? Now, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody, Dame Lillard probably can make 30-foot threes in a row. But I love the game. I love the All-Star game. I love the distance shooting. But I want to make 2 suggestions. The first suggestion is the smallest guy's got to jump center. Because I love Chris Paul winning the tap. So the shortest guy to start the quarters, Chris, got to jump center. And so as long as we do that, and you're right. But how do we, Skip, if they keep shooting the ball from distance, you can't make the corner three any corner because the guy's feet is damn out of bounds to begin with. You can make it. So how do they push it? They can't push the line back further. So I'm with you, Chris. One step past half court, you get 4 points. And guess what? Guys are going to perfect that shot, and guys going to be average. That's how somebody's going to break Wilt's record, because somebody's going to hit a couple of 4-pointers in a game.
By the way, speaking of Chris Paul, I didn't know he could dunk. He got up and dunked.
Dave, even Steph caught one.
A lot of little guys.
And Steph hung on the rim.
Kyrie.
Yeah.
Steph.
And wait, how about Luka? I didn't know Luka could jump. Could he dunk? He got up and dunked. Luka did.
And Yoke, Skip, when Yoke won the tap, Yoke, that was the greatest Yoke, the most excitement Jokic has had. And then he got mad because Giannis wouldn't throw it off the backboard so he could catch it. He looked at the bench like, I wanted to dunk it.
Okay. Now, back to the reality of the basketball game, which I take more seriously than maybe you take.
Yes.
And I was all for Team KD until I heard on Sunday morning that, what? Joel Embiid is in COVID contact tracing. He's out because of his barber in Philadelphia. Right. So is Ben Simmons. Right. But I told you, I thought Embiid was going to be the MVP of this game because he is edged ahead as the front runner, regular season MVP. I just think he's on a tear. And I believe he would have done to this game what Giannis did. And he also would have stopped or curtailed some of Giannis's just wide open dunks. Because I've never seen an MVP score more easily or luckily by accidentally banking in 2 of your three-pointers than Giannis did to win MVP. And I'm with Shannon. I don't know exactly what Chris thought. I thought Steph, because he set the tone for the distance shooting in the first half and gave them their lead and gave them their momentum. I thought he deserved MVP. He also had 4 rebounds and 4 assists, which Dame did not have. But the point was, how did Giannis win MVP off just because he went 16 for 16? Yeah. And by the way, if we could just quickly see the rush through the 16 shots that Giannis made. I just want our viewers to let this sink in. This is the MVP performance. What? Hank? That was pure luck.
I heard him call glass on that, too.
Put back, just sort of lay it in, dunk. How about another? I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
That was the one shot he
Step
made
back
all
to
night.
me, yeah.
Okay, is that enough for MVP? Well, that's a tough shot. And is anybody going to guard Giannis? Is anybody going? Any contests?
No.
Can anybody just jump with him and like give him some problem? Just bother him a little bit off the bank? Holding up the trophy. Way to go. How did that happen? After the greatest